Welcome to episode 13 of the movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. My name's James.
I'm Laurie.
And I'm Wyndham.
Hello, everybody.
Hello!
Happy birthday!
Happy
indeed.
Yeah!
Is it going to be Unlucky 13?
Episode 13.
Starting
I
high.
thought about that.
Where does that come from? Why is it unlucky?
It's unlucky because it's a baker's dozen.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's baker's
Well,
dozen
it
is
is.
13. So they overmade so that in case there was wastage.
Well, where do they put the egg in the box?
Well,
The extra egg?
What? You can't put
That's a
13
chicken
eggs.
farmer you're thinking of.
You can't put 13 eggs in a box.
That would be insanity.
Right.
The actual definition of insanity.
It's not an egg's dozen, it's a baker's dozen.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're in the bakery now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you like...
And it was unlucky because they would have to account for more ingredients in case of wastage. That's
for
what
that
it's about.
unlucky event.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. So nothing to do with the Crusades then?
No.
Fine.
It's
Just checking.
It's entirely bakery derived.
Okay, just checking. Most unlucky things
Well,
typically linked to the Crusades. No?
well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright, sorry.
So we've survived a whole year.
Yeah.
We've only lost one presenter.
So who's to go in 2019, do you think? or do you think we've arrested that train?
Nico, we love you.
Let's hope so.
I was told I looked old today. I saw a guy called Sean Mourinho Rodrigo. He went, Laurie, I haven't seen you for a long time. Oh, you got old, man. And I involuntarily swore, and it was the F word. So that's my natural go-to for being told I look old.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I apologise for the F.
Okay, so we're not going to make a huge thing of the birthday.
Okay.
Why not?
Because, well, what do you want to do? Cake? Card? What have you brought?
Well, you bought me a strong beer.
Oh yeah, Wyndham,
bought you
thank you
beers.
for the beers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Birthday beers, that was very nice. I've provided the birthday house
Indeed.
to record in.
He did, and I've got the cheer. and the theme. What theme tune are we going to do? Well, not the theme tune. What happy birthday song are we going to? Are you going to play a happy birthday song?
No. Because there's only two happy birthday songs.
There's not.
Stevie Wonder's Happy Birthday to
There's
You.
that one.
And It's My Party and I'll Cry Volunteer.
Is there alternate images? Happy birthday! You got the Beatles.
We're not doing
Oh,
any of
okay,
that.
fine, forget it.
What's the Beatles one?
Says it's your birthday, blonde.
Yeah, anyway, right, so let's move on. We have got some mail today.
Oh, blimey, Charlie.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Wyndham
heaven.
is going to be in charge of reading out aforementioned mail.
Okay. Have you got it?
I do, yeah.
So, have we got Wim?
So we've got an email here from Louisa, long-time listener, first-time caller, which I think is a quote from Grosse Point Blank. Anyway, hello, Lighthouse Keepers. Firstly, I wanted to say how much I enjoy the podcast. Full stop.
Are you commas?
No, I'm done on that now. I've just paused on episode 12 to jump into the debate around casting that you discussed when talking about The Quiet Ones, and in particular the casting of Peter Dinklage's Knick-Knack.
Uh-huh.
This mirrors the casting of Angelina Jolie in 2007 as Marianne Pearl, a woman of colour in a mite heart. It was a contentious issue at the time, but her power and sway in Hollywood allowed this film to be made and the story behind it to be told. Is it right that Caucasian actors are being cast in non-Caucasian roles? I don't believe it is, but would that film have been made without Angelina Jolie in the title role? Probably not. If the film industry has become more diverse, it needs to cast roles that reflect the ethnically diverse world we live in and not play it safe by casting from the small A-list pool of actors, most of whom are white. Anyway, getting deep, but glad it's something you discussed and look forward to hear you discuss this and other issues more. Keep up the great work, Louisa.
Nice one.
Thanks, Louisa.
Juicy.
It's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, isn't it? Because if you don't have an A-list celebrity fronting a film,
Which is
aren't
what
gonna
she's
go and
saying.
see
Which
it
is
a
what
lot
she's
of
saying.
the time,
That
yeah.
story would not have found the silver screen without somebody like Angelina Jolie, even though she's the wrong colour.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it also got me thinking, after we'd spoken about this, that actually, you know, the stock in trade of an actor is to pretend to be that which they're not.
Yes.
So the idea that could an actor bring a disability to life? Yeah, if they're a good enough actor, and I think it was a point you made, Laurie, that actually the story is everything, and if you've got an actor who embodies whatever the ethnicity or physical traits or whatever it might be of the character, but they're a fucking terrible actor, that's going to be clunky. Whereas if you've got a great actor who can portray that and bring it to life,
that will trump it, kind of.
It kind of trumps it, especially with the A-listers. I do agree.
But it's the idea. What I was saying above that, though, is kind of the idea and all the factors that play into that. So does it want to be commercial?
Yeah.
The motivation of the character, all the nuances of what one particular person could do over above another one. You know what I mean? Those parts, are they the important parts of the character, or is the most important part of that character the colour of the skin, or the loss of the limb, or the nose, which is a foot long?
But I think the other problem with this as well is if you want to play a guy who's blind, all you have to do is close your eyes.
Is it?
Whoa!
It's a bit more than that, but that's a start. Yeah? To understand
You
what
are a
it's
trained actor as well, aren't you?
But if
They
you're a
talk
blind
funny.
person, you can't suddenly see. So you can't play a sighted person. So there are less opportunities for roles for blind actors.
Yes.
Therefore, maybe those roles should be given to people who can't see.
Yeah. And I would say they probably have a better handle on it
I should think so.
than an able-bodied, a visually unimpaired actor who just closes their eyes.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the argument behind it.
I'm going to be blind for the rest of this episode.
Great, shut your eyes. Wonderful. Right, anything else?
We do, yeah. We have another. Again, I just think we're demonstrating our global reach here. This is a short, relatively short missive from Jason, based in Perth, Australia.
Yeah, Jace, mate.
So he says, just caught up on the most recent podcasts. These are by far the best two yet. In both episodes, I laughed loudly.
Shucks.
Like the review of Jaws, has become one of those movies that actually transcends being a movie, but has more become a cultural icon. Has become a cornerstone for movie folklore and movie making overall. Favourite quote, when Roy Schneider's character is chumming the water, he turns around only for Jaws to rear up, startling him, "We're going to need a bigger boat." Favourite scene, not sure, but I like the whole piece on the boat when they are now hunting for Jaws. Scariest scenes, any scene where they go into the water. Like Wynn's comment, when he goes into the water and moves a tooth, you know something's going to happen, but you're not sure what, only for the head to appear. Ben Gardner, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quality. Love the review of American Werewolf. I've only seen bits of it, never seen the whole movie.
Well, watch the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. But one observation that I had is that I think John Landis was actually making a horror that could be seen as a parody or caricature of horror films before it. The caricature of London and the characters, the pub, the slaughtered lamb, even the name is a spoof of small pubs found out in the country. As I think Laurie mentioned...
Can I just say, I think I mentioned that.
What?
That it was it was how Americans...
this next bit, yeah. As I think Laurie mentioned, it was actually James, that's true.
I don't mention anything.
It was a parody of how Americans see England, a country filled with yokels, in inverted commas, and London tourist attractions, with obviously the Hammer-based-esque spoof throughout. As for Scanners, I couldn't even get through the trailer, it was that bad. Anyway, great work, team, and look forward to the next episode. Jason, Perth, Australia.
Thanks, Jason.
Cheers, Jason.
Can you make sure that you listen a bit more attentively to this episode?
And watch Scanners. Just give it a go. Go on.
I won't bother.
Oh, come on.
Watch the first 15 minutes till the head blows up, and you're done.
Oh,
Absolutely.
it's all right.
Oh, well, that's good. Right, anyone got any news?
I thought of news and I desperately said to myself, write it down, and I didn't.
I haven't got any.
So I saw a trailer. I was watching TV with my good lady wife last night, and I saw a trailer as the action correspondent for the movie Lighthouse podcast.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren
Yeah.
is now fronting a game show called Take the Tower, which is a whole load of kind of physical activities based on famous movie scenes. So you know the bit in Mission Impossible where he drops into the computer room? So there's all this kind of weird shit going on that these teams have to reenact these
This is brilliant.
these scenes with the intention of getting to the top of the tower where Dolph Lundgren sat behind his massive desk as the boss.
Is he like playing a character?
I think he's playing himself.
Playing
a big boss villain. But regardless of anything, surely that has to be worth a watch.
Wow. How do we watch this?
With your eyes open.
Shut your eyes.
I think it's going to be on television.
Right, well,
but I can't for the life of me remember which of the random channels it's on, Quest or something strange.
Well, you reminded me of a bit of news. I watched the trailer the other day for Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh, behave.
No, mate, it looks great. Do you like Mary Poppins? I like Mary Poppins.
Oh, of course, I love Mary Poppins.
Right.
She's super arrogant, though.
She continues to be super arrogant.
See, I fancy her.
But she does deliver the results, though, so is it arrogance? Don't know.
And Dick Van Dyke's in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. Of course he is.
What as?
He's
well, it's hard to say, but he looks like
Mary
he's playing
Poppins.
an old banker.
Is his son in it?
No, Dick Van Dyke. Oh, yeah, actually, you're right. He does play the old banker dude as well, but he's Bert, the chimney sweep.
Yeah,
the...
I know he's in the
You've seen the first one. We're talking about the second one.
Oh.
Have you seen the trailer?
No.
There you go.
Is his son in the second one?
Who?
Chim Chiroo in. Who's the actor you just mentioned?
Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke. Do you not remember that TV series he did with his son, where Dick Van Dyke
That was
played...
really his son.
The Dick Van Dyke
Diagnosis Murder or something.
Something like that, yeah.
No, that was Scott Bio.
No,
he was from Happy Days.
No.
Who did a lot better than Joni, who ended up with a very sad death in a trailer.
Oh dear. That is not what I'm talking about, though. I am talking about Dick Van Dyke and his son in the same show together. Dick Van Dyke plays a senior medical person at a hospital.
Diagnosis Murder.
It's not Scott Bio.
Yes, it is. It's Diagnosis Murder music now.
Okay. Hold on, here we go. Series cast and crew. Cast. Dick Van Dyke. Oh, hold on. Dick Van Dyke plays Mark Sloan, Doctor. Barry Van Dyke plays Steve Sloan, the police officer who can never solve a crime without his dad's help.
And keep going.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about... Oh, Scott Byers, Doctor... Oh, God, he was in it as well. Yeah, sorry, but that wasn't the point. The point was that it doesn't matter. Is Dick Van Dyke's son in the remake of Mary Poppins?
I do not know the answer to that.
Okay.
Did Dick Van Dyke continue to wear... Because I only really saw the pilot for Diagnosis Murder, the very first episode, and one of his characteristics is go around the hospital on roller skates. Did they continue that trait?
What, Dick was skating?
Yeah.
Is that not a flashback to Mary Poppins?
No, it was definitely Diagnosis Murder.
Did he skate in
He didn't skate in Mary Poppins.
Well,
Where did he roller skate?
I don't know.
No,
I don't remember him roller skating particularly in Diagnosis Murder.
No, just kicked paints in the sand.
Didn't
in
stick.
the rain.
Right, well, anyone else got any news?
I really did have something that I got all excited about.
He's got it written
I didn't
down
write it down. It says
news.
underline dot arrow. That's all I have.
Well, there you go.
Shit.
Right, well, we better get on because we've got quite a bit to get through today. Because it's our birthday show, we've got 3 of our favourite films.
A triple header.
Yeah, so let's make a start. We're going to start with Robocop.
Yeah, we are.
Wyndham's choice.
Yeah, my choice.
Okay, so before we hear anything about it, let's have a clip.
We get the best of both worlds. The fastest reflexes modern technology has to offer, onboard computer-assisted memory, and a lifetime of on-the-street law enforcement programming. It is my great pleasure to present to you Robocop. This guy's really good.
He's not a guy, he's a machine.
Old Detroit has a cancer. Cancer is crime.
Let the woman go. You are under arrest.
You better back up, pal!
Your move, creep.
Right, there we go. So, Wyndham,
Yes.
Yeah.
why did you choose this film?
So, this film has an unparalleled place in my heart. it is, well, as you guys know, it is the best film ever made.
Oh, behave yourself. You love this film heavy, though, girl.
I do.
You love it heavy.
I think we should have a little bit of a history lesson before we go on, actually. So, when we originally devised this podcast, it went through a couple of different
iterations.
That's the word. I think it started with Horror Watch, where we would meet and get blind drunk.
Oh,
well, you two did.
Well,
well, we did, but you were.
I was out on my face drunk.
And we had the
I was
audacity to
never
think that
done
it was listenable, and it really wasn't.
No, it was awful. It was awful.
I mean, and then
so that didn't work.
That didn't work.
Nope.
And then we tried to take it a bit more seriously, and we came up with the name For the Love of Robocop.
Yeah.
Because you, Wyndham, love that film so
I do,
much.
and I think the intention of that name was to reflect our general love of film, and we were struggling to come up with a name, and we kind of landed on that one. We actually recorded an episode under that name, which we scrapped because taking it seriously didn't work for us either.
Yeah.
And then
I remember that, yeah.
And then it was one Sunday morning, I had a particular heavy strain, like Robin Williams in The Fisher King, and I just opened my eyes and saw fairies and epiphany, and there, lo, was the lighthouse.
Beautiful.
Shining the light through the fog of film. And here we are now, boys, 1 year old. Hey!
1 year old. So there we go. So that's Robocop win.
Yes. Synopsis?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Synopsis for Robocop. It's set in a near-future Detroit, which is heavily corrupt and effectively run by the Omni Consumer Products.
Well, they're coming in on their
evil
creeping
corporation. Just done a deal with the city to run the police. And the story is basically around a policeman who's just been transferred in, Alex Murphy. On his first day on the job in this precinct, he gets murdered.
His first day.
His first day.
Lucky.
Gets murdered, and as a result, his body is then incorporated into an OCP product, a law enforcement robot.
I just want to
Robocop.
say, sorry to interrupt, but you look so excited.
Oh, it's such a good film. I watched this yesterday, but had no reason to. I could talk about this regardless. But it's such a good film. Anyway, the rest of the story is then Robocop trying to eradicate crime and corruption in the city, and track down his killers, and get justice.
Yeah.
Great. So it was released in 1987.
Yeah, it was.
Directed by Paul Verhoeven.
Yep.
Written by Edward Numier. And
Michael Miner.
Do what now?
And Michael Miner, two writers.
And I don't know how much it made. Loads.
13 million.
Oh, right, okay, great.
Actually, that's fairly modest.
Oh, no, that's the budget.
Oh, right.
No, I think 53.4 million I've got.
Yeah, that sounds more like
That
it.
sounds like that.
Yeah.
Peter Weller played, what's his first name? Alex Murphy?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Robocop. Nancy Allen was Officer Anne Lewis. And who else do we want
So
to
we
talk
had
about?
Ray Wise.
Ronnie Cox as Dick Jones, the number 2 guy at OCP.
yeah.
And then the career-defining performance from Kurtwood Smith as Clarence Boddicker.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And there's a whole load of Miguel Ferrer in it, plays Bob Morton. Ray Wise plays Leon Nash.
Totally related to him.
We've got...
Leland Palmer.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got Paul McCrane, who plays Emile. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
All right, so let's kick off. First memories.
So I go. Okay, so this was around the time, probably. What year was it released again? 87. Oh shit! I can't even do the maths. It feels like I was 13, 14.
Well, it wouldn't. You'd have been 11.
I would have been 11. So 13 probably when I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even 12. But my brother had a movie magazine, and there was a bit of a feature on it, and I obviously knew piss all about it. And I just saw these really cool shots of this kind of robo, and it said, Robocop. Oh, that's a wicked idea, man. And I cut it out when he wasn't looking. He was really pissed off, actually, my brother. Put it on my wall, and I started incorporating that character into our games with me and my mates when they come over on Sundays. We basically played like a spaceship sort of game, and I was kind of like the pilot and all this kind of stuff. I was never
Were
the
you all
captain.
the best characters? You've spoken about this before.
No, it's kind of like a roguey character. Not,
Han Solo.
Yeah, I'm kind of like yeah, but a little bit more grubby. You know what I mean?
Grabby or grubby?
Grubby.
All right.
Yeah, and
Bit more Weinstein.
so, but yeah, I decided to put this character called Roby or something. Was that invented?
Good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And in my mind, he looked just like that. And Mum used to have these hair sort of clippers. You know, Star Trek Next Generation, the guy that is blind.
Yes.
Bet you he didn't have his eyes closed behind them anyway. But he's basically wearing a hair clip grip across his eyes. Yeah, I used to wear those across my eye. Really hurt though.
Very uncomfortable for him as well, apparently.
It really, really hurt. It chaffs just above your ear if you wear them for too long. So yeah, Robocop.
Just
is
like
very much...
because Robocop had a visor, didn't it?
So then, probably a year or so later, it comes out on VHS. That's a massive deal. You put it in, you get the soundtrack. Let's go! Kind of naff, but kind of great. And I loved it. It basically slapped me in the face. And I think this is the greatest quality I feel about Robocop is it knocks you off guard, you know. Obviously you've got...
Alright, that's enough now.
Okay. But yeah, I loved it and obsessed with it and it's cool.
Great. Yeah, I just got it out of VHS.
Oh yeah. Push play.
Yeah.
How did you rewind it though, James?
Wyndham.
My first memory of it would have been probably in '88, so the year after it was released. And my brother and I think my sister randomly went on a ski trip to Aviemore in Scotland. And my brother came back with a girl. He'd met somebody on this ski trip, and randomly she came back to Cornwall, where we were living with him. It was a bit weird.
It's going from one end of
the country to the other.
Well, not the country, because it's two countries.
Well, yeah, all right. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Anyway, she was merely, for me anyway, the delivery system, because she had a moody copy of Robocop on VHS, and I watched it. My parents went out one evening, popped it in, and I sat there.
Were you on your Todd?
I was on my own, just blown away by it. It was just fucking incredible for 88, I'd have been 12, 13.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah. What was the
And then
bit
the
that
next
really
day-
kicked you in the tits? Was it Murphy
Right at the beginning.
getting it?
Yeah, Murphy getting it. That was like, oh my God. But the
And he
next
really
day,
gets it.
The next day, we're watching it again in the afternoon, and my younger brother was watching it for the first time. And my dad came in just at the point where Bob Morton is entertaining the two ladies of the night.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just sniffing cocaine off one of their chests. My dad walks in and goes, boys, kitchen. So we go out to the kitchen, and Dad, in very serious tone, says, I don't think a film showing a man sniffing drugs off a woman's chest is really appropriate for boys your age. And I just went, yeah, fair cop, Dad, yeah, no problem, because I'd seen it the night before, but my brother had to wait months before he got to see it.
Nice.
Bless my mother, all she used to do, whatever I was watching, she used to come in and say, oh, what is this silly stuff you're watching? And then walk out again.
Good girl.
So
And what was it though? It was probably like so.
Oh, like Freddy Krueger ripping someone's head off or something. Alright, so let's get into the whole kind of setup. Because he also did Starship Troopers, didn't he?
Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah.
And Total Recall.
No, he did a couple of films just before Robocop, and I can't remember the names of them. I'm really, really sorry, but he'd already sort of made himself apparent. He's not kind of your usual filmmaker. He's quite difficult to categorise, and I think these two films before
He did Flesh and Blood before this.
Oh wow, was that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Flesh and Blood, that's Rutger Hauer set in the medieval times with a really cool sword, but there's plenty of nookie in it. So actually probably on par. It was actually a bit more saucier than My Moon Dance in the American Life in London. So I didn't get to watch it as much. But I remember...
Lovely sex spot.
Yeah, Russell Collins managed to come over for a sleepover, and we stayed in the front room in sleeping bags and put Flesh and Blood on. And we were both very quiet throughout the film. Very, very quiet.
Well, look, we're kind of moving away, because what I wanted to talk about a little bit was the way it opens, and he uses a device of the newsfeed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which he also uses in Starship Troopers.
Indeed, yeah. So there's this constant So it starts with
Kind of a Greek chorus.
a flyover of the city,
That's the thing as well about this is
and there's no credits.
exactly, yeah. This is like one of the first films where it's just like, pow, there's the title, there's the film. You're straight in.
Do you know the first one?
Wallop.
What did that?
What's the one?
We're going to be talking about it later.
Bambi?
No, we're going to be talking about it today.
The Exorcist?
Apparently so.
Oh,
Anyway.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it takes that kind of.
Oh, it's my dog.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Liz.
Carry on.
Yeah, so it takes that is a kind of like a flyover of the city, and then it zooms into a newscast, and in the same way that he does in, or a similar way he does in Starship Troopers, he uses that newscast to kind of really show
Tell the world the situation.
Exactly, the prevailing wind of the world that this story is happening within, and it's basically one of corruption and corporate takeover. Really, everything's being privatised, and and there's not necessarily
even
all the
hearts
positivity.
are hearts are machines by Yamaha.
Well, the really interesting thing is there's a bit in it where Cox, Dick Jones, is talking when he introduces his droid. Sorry, James, coming a little bit off topic, but
That's all right.
he says this company has all look at the track record of this company. We've involved ourselves in hospitals, prisons, the military, areas that have previously not been considered privatised or where you can make a profit. And you kind of flip to now and you kind of go prisons,
Hell yeah.
privatised, NHS in the UK.
But that was going
US.
on exactly. That was going on right at the time. You know, we the like British Rail, BT,
But shouldn't
all that stuff. It was all just
science fiction
sold.
should kind of echo things to come. You know, not just technology, but
But I think it was more actually of a present. It was more of a present satire.
Yeah.
What is going on in this one? It was
it's
already
back again,
existent.
Yeah.
In '89 or whenever it was made.
And basically, OCP had just done a deal with the city to run and pay for police enforcement within the city, which is where the whole...
Yeah. So their objective is basically, because we're having loads more, what's it called, cop killings. So that's on the grow.
Yeah.
And OCP's sort of line is like, we're going to stamp out crime. And their head brain scheme is to basically make...
head-brained.
Hairbrained? There's the same vicinity. I kind of shoot and I generally miss, yeah. But yeah, so their scheme is obviously probably to save money and salaries, to invent robots, and their first incantation of this robot would be Ed 209. And then that...
We're going to get onto that in a minute. The question I want to ask, really, which is an obvious question, is did we like this film?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Right. Right, now think about this. Try and step out of yourselves. What kind of person would not like
yes
this
or
film?
no?
Well, fucking yes! I know, this is what I'm trying to say. Is it possible
Hold on, I'm just
not to
step out
like
of
this
my
film?
Yes.
Yeah, you're
I'm
over
back.
there. Get back.
Ha! Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
you
something
do look
about this
better,
film.
don't
I think you can, you can get very deep, and you can look into all of the symbolism and all that kind of stuff, and you can kind of draw parallels with society as it was at the time and look back on it now, or you can look at it as this amazing action film, bit of a gore fest. And do you know what? I don't think there's a bad performance in it.
Well, how about when what's his name, Robocop, McMurphy? Is it McMurphy?
Let's go for
Who's
McMurphy.
McMurphy? He's in a
It's a
film.
McFlurry.
There's a McFly.
When what is it? That's it. When his violation comes in.
Directed
and he's
for.
kind of fighting with himself to not do it. I
Yeah.
thought that was a marvellous bit of work there.
Well, to be fair, he's a robot, and that's how a
Is that how they would
that's
react?
how
Fair enough.
well, no. See what he's doing there. There's the conflict between the program and the person, and
Right.
instead of just But my point being, I don't think you've really thought it through to understand his visualization journey.
And he did a lot of work on that, didn't he?
He
worked
did.
with a movement artist.
It was a
and stuff.
Japanese guy, wasn't it? He worked with. Yeah.
He does an absolutely brilliant performance because effectively you can just see his chin and his mouth. Well, not even his chin. You can pretty much see just the mouth and a bit of cheekage through the whole of the film. And
No, that's not true. Because they get rid of the mask halfway through.
Oh, all right, yeah, you do get... Yeah, all right, bloody hell.
I'm just pointing out
But even
facts.
with that mask on, you still really feel for that character. He does really definitely portray that
It's a lot of good chin acting then.
Yeah.
He's so good in it. He's so good in it.
He is particularly good.
All right, let's
So
talk
he's
about
not
the
bad.
other performances. What about what's her name, Officer Lewis?
Yeah, so she's
cool and cute.
Yeah, she's cool and cute,
She's
and I
good. I thought she was
I
very
think
good.
it reflects the kind of, they make her tough and punchy. So when Murphy meets her for the first time
Yes.
on his first day, she gets pushed around by a suspect and then beats the crap out of him. So we know she's tough and can handle herself.
She's the emotional heart of the film, I would say.
Yeah, that's
Well, no, see, now I would say this is going back to Weller. He does a good job, man. I feel for him.
But her character is the one that pulls the Murphy out of the Robocop.
You reckon it's not just his memories?
No.
Oh no,
it's
you're absolutely
And
right. You are
that's-
absolutely right. That's what triggers it.
After he
Hold
has his
on, why
nightmare.
wasn't I absolutely right? How come I was absolutely right?
I kind of listen to you, but it's like through a fuzz. It's like a.
Just because Wyndham speaks with more authority than I do.
I think it's because he's slightly deaf in his right ear. And you always get his right ear.
Should I open my eyes now? Because
No.
maybe it's the body language thing. It might be the body language.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's good. Yeah.
And what
Although,
about, yeah.
can I just say,
Uh-huh.
performance of this film, other than Peter Weller,
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller is Kurtwood Smith for me
Right.
as Clarence
Boddicker.
So
He
that's
is
not-
awesome.
So he found fame in that 70s show as well, didn't he?
Much more recently, yes, he was in that. But I think he's one of those actors. He and Lance Henriksen, who plays Bishop in Aliens,
Oh, yes.
and a little bit in Alien 3.
Oh, and Alien vs. Predator.
For me,
Pumpkinhead.
they are known by, Kurtwood Smith is known for Robocop and Lance Henriksen is known for
Well,
Aliens.
hold on a
Even
minute.
though they've
He's
done
known
Hollywood
by
stuff.
you.
That's
for
my point.
Robocop.
Yeah. And is that not how everybody sees the world?
What's
Through
that
my eyes?
awesome vampire film? Is it After Dark? Is it called that? Not After Dark. Is it After Dark?
After Eight.
Oh, damn it.
Done.
Sorry, guys.
But Kurtwood Smith in this, I just think he's brilliant. He's a really good bad guy. He really the bit where he the first we see of him, he and his gang have just robbed a bank.
Yeah.
And he's sat there and he's saying, "You burnt the fucking money," to one of his younger gang members, Bobby. And then within 20 seconds, he's again, "Can you fly, Bobby?" And the way to avoid the police catching them is by throwing this guy out of the back of the moving van to get run over.
Yeah, and at that point, like going back to when I first watched it, I knew that he was a stinky, repulsive arsehole.
Like how he talks to
hated him.
when he goes to talk to the receptionist
hair
and just
like-
puts a chewing gum
Barbara.
on her.
I've got an
Then-
appointment
yeah.
with Dick
Sniffs
Jones.
the wine when he goes
That-
into
I
with
wanted
the
to talk
cocaine
about
factory.
that.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the hell was he thinking putting his
because
fingers
that's
in
how
the
he
wine?
consumes his
Do you
intoxication.
know, even worse, the man drank it.
But do you not think that was just a fuck you to Sal?
Yeah, but then Sal drank the wine.
Yeah,
Well,
of course it is,
that was him being.
Yeah, but Sal, drinking it is like, well, you don't mean fuck all of
That's
me.
a
It's
brilliant.
still
Scene.
my wine.
That is a brilliant scene. The cocaine factory.
There's a lot of brilliant scenes.
So the other thing is the script I think works really well as well. So all of these characters you got.
Just before we get onto the script, I just want to mention Dick Jones as well. I think Miguel. Who
Miguel Ferrer.
Who does he play?
He plays Bob Morton, who
Okay.
is the
Another
inventor
brilliant
of
character because he's not a bad guy, he's not a good guy. You know,
He is a bad guy.
Well, he's not a really bad guy.
He's a corporate guy. He is effectively
He's not as
a
bad
bad
as
guy.
the other bad guy.
No, that's true. He's not as bad as Dick.
And I thought, and the old man
Yeah.
was just brilliant.
Yeah,
Because right away in those few scenes you see him, you understand everything about him.
Exactly. That's so. The when we first see the old man, it's when Dick Jones is demonstrating ED-209 for the first time. He gets an arrest subject. The famous scene where Mr. Kenny gets shot. You have 15 seconds to. I am now authorised to use physical force.
Yeah.
Just blows this guy
what
away.
a horrific scene that is, and back to that bit where it just completely knocks you off guard, but you laugh.
Yeah,
it's funny.
you do. But then it cuts to Dick Jones walking around the table to the old man, and he says, "I'm sure it's just a glitch." He goes, "You call this a glitch? We're due to begin construction on Delta City in 6 months' time. Your glitch could cost us $50 million in interest payments alone."
Yeah.
And that's what he's worried about. He's worried about money. He couldn't
Yeah.
give
Oh,
a
he
shit
couldn't
about
give
his
a
dead
turd about
to your point though, that that single interaction tells you everything you need to know about the old man as well.
Yeah.
Really
you get more of the old man in Robocop 2, and I know we're not talking about that, but you get that as well.
So Paul Verhoeven really,
In that
and looking at Starship Troopers as well, he really pulls out the characters that you want to invest in and like, and they're not just like two-dimensional, really, are they? Are we saying that?
Yeah,
Well,
and he does it quickly.
Yeah.
Does
So
it
you
really quickly.
were talking last episode about with Landis, his writing being
effective.
No, you said
Efficient.
something else. Efficient. This for me is efficient writing. This
Yes.
is really right to the nub of every character point you want to get across, but not in a.
The only problem that you had was the old lovely romance bit. And there are people out there that move quick, baby.
Well,
I swear to God, they move quick.
But yeah, absolutely.
He's a romantic.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about effects and let's start with Ed 209.
Yes.
Pretty big floor, can't go downstairs.
Yeah, you'd have thought.
Bit like
And bearing in
Daleks,
mind, Daleks have been out for a long time.
Yeah,
You'd have thought
they can fly down there.
robotic engineers would have. Would have worked.
I like the way it tentatively puts
Yeah.
its foot out. In fact, when it gets destroyed, there's a really nice bit at the end when it does a little death rattle.
toe
Yeah.
flicks.
Yeah.
But that if could you imagine if you were walking down the street and that was law enforcement in a city?
Yeah.
You wouldn't fuck around with it, would you?
Not really. Well, not after seeing that first scene where it shoots that car.
So you
What
say
do you
there's
think of the stop motion though? It looks a bit ropey now?
There's a certain light quality to it. You can tell it's removed, but then you've got a lot of real scenes as well with a real model, so it's enough to.
Do you know what made me forgive it completely? Because I was like, oh, a bit ropey.
Yeah.
They stick in a scene where someone's watching TV and
there's
a stop motion dinosaur.
Dinosaur. You're absolutely right.
But that's
Yeah.
the advert
Really
for
clever.
the 6000 SUX. Big is back because bigger is better.
He's a bit of a geek.
Sorry,
But
yeah, the effects I think are.
Brilliant
I think they do
explosions.
stand up, and yes, you do have those couple of
think
bits. There's only one bit in it that I eat now, and even then you kind of go, "Oh, damn, that's a shame." And it's one of the last scenes in the film where, spoiler alert. So the directive 4 is Dick Jones's contribution to Robocop's
Yes.
profile, and it basically says you can't arrest an officer of OCP. So at the end of it, he comes back upstairs and he's yada yada yada, and the old guy basically Robocop wants to arrest Dick Jones for killing Bob Morton.
He wants to put a cap in his nuts.
Yeah, he does, but he can't because of this Directive 4. And then the old guy goes, "Dick, you're fired." Robocop shoots him, and as he falls out the window, his arms grow.
Extra long.
His
Yes,
arms
it turns
grow
into
about
one of those
20 feet long.
from Close
they should
Encounters
have
of the
just
Third
cut
Kind.
that bit
You
out.
didn't need to see him falling down. So that for
Yes,
me
we
is,
did, but we love that scene.
we do.
Don't we,
It
with
is-
his extra long arms.
It is that kind of brilliant. I think that's the bit for me that kind of you go, okay, this was at a time when
Exactly.
he'd spent his money by that.
And it's allowed to be of its time, and it should celebrate that, and we should
I
celebrate
think another significator of its time is toxic waste.
Yeah.
I
Just
mean,
a massive vat of
shit
toxic
is
waste.
dangerous. Because every time it cuts away and comes back to him, he's like 10 times worse.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fast-acting toxic waste.
Yeah.
But that's really good as well, because when he first comes out, you
Yeah.
can see his fingers are starting to drip away from the bone.
Yeah, there's a beautiful
really
melt
good.
quality to
It's
him.
really good.
But is
and then,
that-
and the bit when Boudica drives into him, his head
It just
pops off and bursts
watermelon.
across his. As he then drives away, there's this greeny blue hue as he's peering through the. Brilliant.
The leftovers of a meal basically turns
Yeah.
it into a smoothie, really, a thin one. But this is it. So this film, what it manages to do, it just hits perfectly so many different things. Back to that thing, how do you categorise it? Overall, I suppose it's a really well-made thriller, but it's a comedy, slapstick comedy. You've got that sort of philosophy element. What is a man? What makes a man? What is it? That kind of stuff. And then obviously the satire stuff. There's loads and loads of stuff sort of bubbling in it. It's very, very hard to sort of pin down. But like that whole going into the toxic waste bit, it's kind of just like slapstick and him running over.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it works perfectly. It doesn't distract from it. Ed 209, the bap, 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 bap.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It just really funny, horrific, all at the same time.
Have you seen the director's cut?
No.
There's a lot more.
Basically, it's just the violence is much more.
I think I
Yeah.
do
So
think I have.
so the killing of Mr. Kenny by Ed 209 goes on for much longer.
Yeah.
And the killing of Murphy goes on for longer.
Yeah.
And the bit where...
We need to talk about that, actually, that whole killing of Murphy bit, and linked back to the first time you see it.
Yeah, go on.
Because this film is so violent.
Yeah.
So violent. And, like, this is when you first watched it, like you admitted, that was the moment when you was like, whoa!
Because there's this really... So Clarence Boddicker has this really slick line in however he wants to menace somebody.
Yeah.
So when he's... Murphy's on the floor and he goes, "You probably don't think I'm a very nice guy."
Yeah.
And he has this little monologue. Like, "Buddy, I think you're sly."
Yeah.
"Oh, cops don't like me, so I don't like cops." And it just builds the menace.
And his
that
whole
just
arm
that
is
lingering
just
extra shot, isn't it?
mush.
Yeah. And then...
More smoothie.
But it's also the way it plays it. So Officer Lewis is then running to try and help her partner. She comes around a corner and she just sees Boddicker's gang just firing their shotguns. Doesn't see Murphy. Just sees all of the shots going into Murphy. And then from our perspective as the audience, it cuts to Murphy just screaming and shouting, being blown away. And it's just... I think at 13, however old it was, it was just like jaw-droppingly, oh my God.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop there.
No,
so you've got that, and then he just gets a massive gun out.
Yeah.
I think it's called a Desert Eagle.
Not then.
Oh,
That's
no.
the one in the boardroom.
Oh, is it? Okay. And then he shoots Murphy in the head. And, you know, we said in Scanners that's probably one of the best head-blowing up scenes. But I think Murphy being shot in the head's pretty much on par.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
Yeah, it is.
Bow! The side of his head completely comes out. And it's like, holy shit! And we're, 13, 12, however old we are watching this.
So, do you think it stands up today?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. Yeah, it hasn't aged a bit, really. It works.
The bits that you watch now and go, you would have done in 1987 as well. So the bit when Dick Jones is falling out of the building, you go,
or the bit when he fixes himself like this $1 million machine, fixes himself with a drill,
screwdriver.
Oh yeah,
Phillips drill, and then the gang they get the massive guns and then suddenly forget how to shoot.
That's the Cobra assault cannon, which can destroy a building.
Yeah, well, I missed
can't hit Robocop when he's like 10 feet away.
Yeah.
But that, for me, I think that really is just saying how much of a dick Leon Nash is.
Which one's Leon Nash?
Leon Nash is
I know,
played by Ray Wise.
Yeah. Right, so we better wrap this up. Any memorable lines?
Too many.
There's
yes.
That's a very short one. You're fired. I really like that.
That's a good one. I like Clarence Boddicker, as I say, he's got a mean line in all his stuff. His bit in the cocaine factory, when he's talking to Sal, and he's there going, maybe I'm just not making myself clear. I don't want to fuck with you, Sal, but I got the connections, I got the network. I got the muscle to shove enough of this factory so far up your stupid wop ass.
Just
they
want
go
to
shit
point out
slow
that
for a year.
We're going to stop reading. This is all firmly in his memory.
And then it goes. I'll stop. That's my favourite.
I think we're going to have to score it unless anyone's got anything else they want to say.
I do want to say, computer gaming was a thing at the time.
Not relevant.
It was all going on.
What are you talking about? What's that
the Robocop?
Oh, the game.
The Robocop. I think it might have been Orion. I can't remember who released it.
It was Orion who released it.
It was a very good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You
it.
got to do the whole sort of face sequence thing, match up the face, so you get Leon's face. Emil, that's right. You walking down the street a lot and
that
shooting.
was cool. His spike. The fact that they made his data input thing a
USB.
spike out of his fist.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the fact that his gun slides away into his leg.
Yeah. It's very cool. But yeah, it was a good game. You could basically all the kind of key scenes of the film you got to play. It was good.
Brilliant.
Right, let's score it then.
Do that.
Okay, so performances. I'll start 9.
9.
7.
Effects.
9.
8.
9. Plot.
9.
8.
9. Rewatch factor.
I'm going 8.
10. I literally watched this film over 100 times.
We could. All right. Did I say mine? 9. Direction.
8.
9.
9. Cinematography.
9.
7.
7.
Sound and music, which we didn't mention, but it's got a good...
The scene where he goes back to his home and he's listening, his family start coming back to him and his memories.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful sort of piano. Very, very, very good. Very good.
Right. 8.
8.
2. Joking. 7.
Originality.
9.
9.
It was a really good idea. I was very impressed at the time. 9.
And what about now?
I'll give it probably 6.
Well, you have to mark it.
No, it's
now.
the original. No, 9.
Okay. Enjoyability.
10.
9.
Ooh, 9. Yeah.
Life changing, past or present.
10.
9.
7.
All right. So let's top up the scores.
Very excited about this, by the way.
It seems to be taking a long time.
Yeah, 78 for me.
86.
78. 86. Mine's a 92.
Wow. Wyndham, you have never ever scored anything so high.
Of course not. That's because
Funny,
nothing
isn't it?
is anywhere near as good as this one.
He'll probably leave after this now. Right.
That gives us an 85.3 recurring.
85.3.
Little while.
Which puts it just under Jaws.
It's rocked. It's absolutely been rocked.
Oh, are you serious? That's gone into second position.
Yeah.
Holy
Absolutely.
shizzle.
Wow.
I'm blatantly going to, because I'm in charge of the leaderboard as it goes out on Instagram, I'm just going to lie. I'm pleased with that, I have to say.
Good.
Well done,
Good
everybody.
choice, Wyndham. Right, we're going to move on to my choice, which is the Dark Crystal. So let's have a clip.
Yeah.
The Dark Crystal. It begins as a quest.
You must find the shard. The crystal shard.
The crystal shard?
To save our world, Guildling.
A wonder-filled fantasy adventure. Journey into a mystical realm of sights and sounds.
Okay, so it's my choice, the Dark Crystal. Let me give you a few facts about it. It was released in 1982, directed by Jim Henson and Frank Oz. Frank Oz is a connection with the Lighthouse because
the wonderful things he does?
No.
That is
He
awesome.
was in An American Werewolf in London.
Oh, of course he is.
Screenplay was by Jim Henson. Box office, it made 40 million. Managed to... that'll do. And performers, Jim Henson as Jen, and Catherine Mullen as Kira, Frank Oz as Augra, and loads of others.
Yeah.
But they did lots of it.
They did, yeah.
They did all the parts.
They did. Well,
They
this
did all
was
the
really
speaking parts.
This was Frank's baby, and apparently
I thought it was Jim's baby.
Sorry, Jim's baby. You're absolutely right. They were stranded, I think, at an airport. They were snowed in, and he quickly wrote it with his daughter sat there because they were a bit bored.
That's where J.K. Rowling got the idea.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. He put loads of money into it and all sorts of stuff.
What an exceptionally talented man. We'll talk about him a little bit more.
Wonderful, wonderful.
All right, so let's start with first memories. Oh, shall I give a synopsis? Sorry.
Please do.
Okay, so it's set in... Where is the world? Does it name the world?
No.
It doesn't, does it?
No.
It's set in a fantasy world where there is a crystal of power that's cracked, and there's a race called the Skeksis and a race called the Mystics, and it's about a young gelfling called Jen, whose mission it is to restore the Dark Crystal.
In time for the conjunction, because this was one of those films where you get this wonderful voiceover right at the beginning that gives you the whole setup. And I think through no accident, that voice sounds very, very similar to Alec Guinness, because apparently it was said that this universe is the same universe as Star Wars. There's a connection, there's a link.
Right.
So you have this sort of beautiful kind of...
Who says that?
I think Jim said it.
Did he?
Yeah, and Lucas agreed. Yeah, that's the Star Wars universe. Anyway, so that's the...
And E.T.'s in that universe as well, isn't he?
Oh, shut up!
He is!
Shut up!
You see him.
Piss off.
Is that what? Are you denying the truth?
Right, that's it. You're looking after the
Hold
light
on, why
tonight.
are you
You're
disagreeing?
looking after the... No, I'm not doing it.
Why are you disagreeing?
I'm not doing
with,
it.
You see the E.T., don't you?
In those films that don't
Menace.
exist, yeah. I'm sure you did.
You can't.
I never saw it there.
All right, so, first memories. I think I went to the cinema to see this.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd have been
man, wonderful.
6.
Then probably not. Because the first film I went to see at the
No,
cinema
you could
was
well
E.T.
have gone at
Yeah, you
6.
might
Yeah,
have, yeah.
this would have been a draw for a 6-year-old,
Okay.
man.
Yeah.
Let's say you did.
I mean,
yeah.
I absolutely adore this film. I always have done. And obviously rented it lots of times from the video shop, and then bought it, and then seen it numerous times. Laurie?
Me, so young, I can't even remember really the first time I saw it. It definitely would have been on VHS, though. I didn't go to the cinema to see it. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. And I think that's what really just caught me as a kid. It's just the detail and I suppose the nastiness of that detail and the organicness of it. Like probably mainly the Skeksis and kind of, yeah, they're...
That's a much better impression. Well done, Wyndham.
That was very good, Chamberlain. But yeah, just really, just a work of art, really, and you know that classic sort of fairy tale, but just with so much love and detail to it that caught me, I suppose.
Quite.
I never played it though. I never played the Dark Crystal.
It would have been a similar thing for me. I can't remember when I first watched it. I didn't see it at the cinema, but it's one of those films that just kind of is part of my childhood but my younger childhood before Robocop came along. It is beautifully done. It's just the fact that it's almost all puppetry, apart from the bits where Jen is doing his stunts and running around.
Got some midgets going on, yeah.
Is that not? I suppose that's not puppet. I mean, you know that massive Muppet in the Muppets. You know the scary looking one.
The monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a puppet?
Or is that somebody in it?
Yeah, well, there's always somebody in it.
There's puppetry to move his mouth, so that could be construed as puppetry, and his eyes.
No, but the bits when...
But yeah, what's the definition of
jumping off the crystal, running around?
It's a midget in a wig.
Or a kid in a wig, maybe.
Or a kid in a wig.
Yeah.
It could be a kid's midget.
It's just, as you say, Laurie, it is beautiful.
It is a beautiful
so it took
thing.
5 years to make. It was filmed in Elstree, so British.
Just down the road.
Yeah. I think I've been there. I've worked in Elstree.
Well done.
That's my connection to the film. Let's talk a little bit. So it took him 5 years to come up with this whole world. Does the world work?
Hell yeah. Yeah. It's beautifully realised, and it's so basically Jim realised the look of it and the design of it when he saw this artist's work. I need to get his name.
This Devonshire artist.
That's right. And what is his name? He saw, Brian Froud. He was an illustrator.
Right.
He read this book called Once Upon a Time, and Brian Froud was the illustrator of it, and he was just really impressed. He was like, this is what I want my world, my universe to look like. So they both collaborated together, and Froud really, apparently, he was a big fan of like seafood, and he was on the remains of like the shells and the carcasses after he'd had his dinner. He used
shining the light through the fog of film.
He used to glue it together into these different sort of models and shapes for inspiration, and that was all kind of sort of brought into this film.
Was it like an early Instagram? You know how people take pictures of their food?
Well, yeah, they used to glue it back in the day. Yeah, so he did that and he brought it into the film, but much more than that. So the concept of this conjunction is that you have where it's split. It's effectively created the Skeksis and the Mystics.
Are you telling me this because you think I missed that bit in the film, or?
Well, no, but this is like the creation of the world, which I believe that he was asking me about.
Yeah, yin and yang, is it?
Exactly, but that's actually what we do have in real life. You know, we all run around in our worlds and stuff like that.
Go on, give me an example in real life of the Skeksis and the Mystics. Come on.
Well, apparently, if you go into science, every reaction causes
an equal and opposite reaction.
Equal and opposite reaction. So that level of detail on a lesser degree is in this film. That science of the world is in there. So it's not just this looks good. It's like it's got an absolute legend. It's got a science to it.
It's
got a nature to it.
What do you think we can squeeze the life essence from so that we can live forever?
Pigs, cows.
Is it pigs?
Actually, no, they're not good for us. So
teachers.
Squeeze the essence. I'm not sure I'd like to. Bearing in mind we went to university with a load of trainee teachers. I'm not sure I'd like to squeeze the essence out of them and drink that.
Fair point.
So that's, again, the Skeksis definitely play that comment on what we are.
It's the polarity of the human condition, isn't it?
Exactly. And again, back to what a wonderful person Jim was. And again, you know, like in the 80s in our generation, we were very blessed with films that had that kind of morality to it. And this film reeks of it. It's just beautiful.
And the time taken to do this, you know. You know, we are just... One of the reasons we set this up was to kind of focus on particular films that we like.
Yeah.
To tell people about them. Because there's so much shit out there now. You know,
it's a lot of fog, man.
We'll probably talk about this a bit, but they're making a prequel series of The Dark Crystal.
Well, they're his kids. They're his kids.
Yeah,
I think
I wonder what the point is.
But
just to extend the universe.
Because it's his kids that, you know, they were close to their dad. They were around those 5 years.
Yeah, we don't visit his grave or something.
They wrote it.
Watch an old, silly film of him at home.
But I think the point, my understanding anyway, and Brian Froud is involved with the series as well.
Wonderful! Yeah.
But my understanding, so this film is about the realisation of a prophecy, 1,000-year-old prophecy.
Yeah.
And I think the purpose of the series is to explore the world 1,000 years before the crystal cracks. Is my understanding.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, Olga said. I think she said. Did she exist before the first? She did, didn't she? But then it all completely changed.
Yeah.
What a wonderful creation!
So she's alluding to what we're going to see here. Then,
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Why do we like her so much? Why does it work? Because it's just
Olga.
Latex. Is it latex? All right.
Probably.
I'm going to say latex.
Yeah,
and
but
bamboo.
How does it come to life so well?
Puppeteering.
It is
voice.
amazing though, because when I was watching this, I was thinking all of the performances in this film are better than Stephen Lack in Scanners. And they're on. These are all puppets, but it's brilliant. But Aughra, is voiced by Frank Oz.
Yeah.
And the fact that I think part of it is when you first see her, there's just a hand holding an eyeball up into this weird plant, and then it comes down and there's this kind of. She's got horns, she's got hairy cheeks, she's got enormous bosoms.
Yeah.
But doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a toss about anything. Does she?
Just this.
Whether you like her or hate her.
Yeah.
And you know, she's that kind of really strict but fair school headmistress or something like that.
Yeah, kind of a little bit
kind of like
nutty.
You're all scared of her, but actually, as you get older, you realise that she's all right.
Yeah.
She's just teaching you the right way to do things. She's like that. She's brilliant.
Yeah. That's it. About the design of Olga, though, I mean, like, she's very classically sort of an Asian design. If you look at her, you're like an old Asian wise man kind of thing.
She does have the kind of Fu Manchu.
She's got the Fu Manchu
tash.
Yeah.
If we've got any Asian listeners out there who want to be offended at that, please write in.
Well, no. But I've got a massive. I've got a massive love for like mainly sort of Japan stuff that comes out of Japan, the Studio Ghibli.
She's a bit of a. Is it a portent of doom?
Yeah, maybe.
She keeps going. There's no time. We've run out of time.
Crystal is it you want?
Yeah, they obviously haven't.
Don't know what to do with it, do you?
Yeah, she could have just mentioned what they have to do.
She says something amazing actually when she first meets Jen. He goes, "Oh, I was sent here by my mystic master or whatever." It's quite a good impression.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. He goes, is he here? And he goes, oh no, he's dead. And he goes, oh, he could be anywhere.
Yeah, really cool.
That kind of thing. It's that, going back to the Asian thing, is that sort of spirituality stuff. There's loads of that in here, and I don't know if the Japanese or Gimli actually were influenced by this film quite a lot.
Okay.
Because, I don't know if you remember in Spirited Away, you see, like, deep down in the caverns of the bath house, you see these little black things rolling around the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, those little ETs.
Fucking fuck off!
I know that
Can
you
you
have
blink
looked at a lot
yourself
of
out
mysticism.
every time you say one thing?
Because when I saw the Mystics, I thought Native American. I suppose lots of people did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
In tune with their surroundings, with nature.
Well, I'm gambling, really. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm just interested. Has sort of Japanese culture been really influenced by this film a lot more than I realised? Like Zelda, the game Zelda. You ever played the Legends of Zelda games?
No,
there's loads of stuff in this film which is flipping Zelda. Jin playing his not his ocarina, his two-pronged flute to decipher what crystal is the correct one. That is exactly a challenge that you'll have to do in the game of Zelda to figure out a certain challenge to get.
Have you bought a new video game system or something?
No.
One from the 80s.
I don't actually get the chance to play games, but I'm aware of it.
I thought it was nice to see a critter getting some work as well.
Yeah.
Fizzgig.
Fizzgig,
It's basically a critter.
Yeah. And it's got 2 rows of teeth, I've realised for the first time. So, when
he cries.
When Jin meets up with Kira, and Kira says, "You stay here, Fizzgig," and he goes, absolutely brilliant. I love it.
And that's real, like Muppet comedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so great.
But it wasn't too Muppet to be Muppet, was it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes or no? I don't know.
I agree with you completely.
Thank you.
I agree with you. I suppose the closest you kind of do get to the Muppet bit is when they go into the Podlings' home.
Yeah.
And they're all having a party and a good gig.
That was a bit Return of the Jedi.
Very, very Star Wars.
Apparently based on potatoes, the Podlings.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. But actually, you say Return of the Jedi, you're absolutely 100% correct. But also, there's in The Last Jedi, there's these sort of like the Holy Island keepers. They're like nuns.
Yes. They got the big noses, haven't they?
They have got, but they're very similar. So that whole Podling thing, very kind of similar. There is actually a deleted scene from The Last Jedi where they're all having a party.
Yeah, Laurie's Star Wars slot again.
Well, no, this film, Jim said it.
Jim said it. Must be true.
Jim said it. It's linked.
I think we should spend a little time talking about the Chamberlain, who I think is an extraordinary creation.
He's very good.
Yeah. Why is he good?
He's so obsequious.
Oh, Wyndham, what does that mean?
Well, he's just oily and kind of, he's out for himself, and there's nothing he wouldn't do. Ultimately, he wants to be emperor, right? So the beginning of the film, your voiceover you mentioned is talking about the 1,000 years since the crystal cracked, and it's talking about the mystics.
Their
He's
connection.
talking about this race, and then he kind of goes, but now there are only 10.
Yes.
And then it zooms off to the crystal castle, gives you the background of the Skeksis, and then into that it goes, but now there are only 10. Yeah. And they're getting ready. One of their number is about to die.
Can I just say, this is one of my
Emperor's...
problems. This is one of my problems with this film. It's always bugged me. All right. Challenge by stone?
Yes.
Right. Challenge by stone. They pull out the stone. It's been heavily chipped and marked.
So there's been challenges before.
But the stone's never broken, so he's won. So therefore, when they do the new challenge by stone, do they have to chip it away a bit? And then present this stone, or what?
But the first...
That's the only theory that works. No. They have thought that through, and you've just said it. So they've already chipped it away. So that's a new stone that's been chipped away enough to have the challenge ready.
All right.
All right. So you see the Emperor die, and as he dies, the equivalent mystic, which is actually the most wisest of all, which was Jen's benefactor, died as well at the same time.
Yeah.
But Chamberlain, let's quickly go back to Chamberlain again. Why is he so cool? It's because that intelligent sort of.
Well, he's so convincing because when he meets him in the cave, you almost think he has reformed.
Well, he says, please, which is an all right kind of please. And I had, when I was young, I'd go to sleep and sometimes I'd go nuts. I'd go like mental in my head and I couldn't sleep. I generally thought I was going off my top, and I'd have to go through to Mum and say, Mum, I've got to stay with you. What's the matter? I'm going off my top. And what it was effectively perfect calmness, perfect still, but underneath that still is complete violence and malevolence and this thing. And that's kind of, this is what I get from Chamberlain, all right? You asked. You're both frowning.
Well, I just think I'm
back
just
to
worrying
that,
that he
please.
might be a psychopath.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't do it probably as good as you, but please. You know, it's like, oh my
It's a
God.
really thin layer of control
Horrible.
in order for him to get what he wants. And as he sees Jin and Kira running away, he loses control.
Yeah.
Jen.
Thank you. Also,
Yeah, very cool.
it's got one of the most horrific scenes that's always haunted me, and
Is
it's
this
a
the
bit.
essence?
Yeah, it's the bit where they
this
get
is,
the
yeah.
podlings and
Yeah.
drain their essence. It's as bad as when the horse dies in the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the point of Artax? If you're going to kill him that quickly, what are you going to fucking... Every time Sienna watches it, she comes out like 15 minutes later. Artax is dead. Yeah, he comes back. Go back. Doing the hoovering. But yeah, it is a horrible scene. I actually thought there were more podlings that got it in that scene, but it's actually only one.
It's just one.
But there's another one sat next to it that's already been
And
fucked
there's
up.
loads of them wandering. And that one of the podlings is operating the machinery.
That's right, yeah.
They're like, they remind me of doozers.
Yes,
Oh,
from
yeah.
the Fraggle.
Yeah.
Fraggle Rock.
But
It's
that, I think,
from
is
Jim's pen, though, isn't it?
But that's the thing with kids' films of this era, was they were brutal.
Yeah.
We mentioned it before, but they were kind of like, okay, we're not going to sugarcoat this with you. This species is squeezing the essence out of this species,
Innocence.
for themselves, and then turn this into a slave. Done. There's no kind of guilt edge to this.
Yeah. Well, there's two benefits, isn't there? You get a slave and you get the essence.
Which
only
works for
like-
about 4 seconds.
Yeah, he was, well, yeah, exactly. for a
Unless
minute.
you get a Gelflings.
Unless you get a girlfriend, yeah.
But Jim did say, he said that was a lot why this was so close to his heart. He deliberately said, I don't want to, I think it was exactly those words, I don't want to sugarcoat this. I do want it to be my beautiful, wonderful, amazing world, but I'm gonna go to that darkness.
Yeah.
And that darkness, you know, it's a comment on us. It's the way we use innocent creatures just for our own end.
And just the detail. So when Kira is, they're draining her essence, and she manages to get the animal creatures to help her and all that kind of stuff. For the rest of the film, she looks really
great.
tired and gone. And it's
Bless
like,
her heart.
yeah.
Until right at the end.
Yeah.
But that is pretty hardcore, isn't it? I mean, like that last scene, Fizzy gets chucked in the freaking fire pit. So fuck! And then Kira gets it in the back. She freaking dies.
And how brilliant's Orgo when she's like, "Oh, just get on it." Or, you know, come on,
Saving Fizzy.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Jen is he's a liability. I mean, if you, as with all of these kind of prophecy stories, in pursuit of fulfilling the prophecy, everything this person touches is destroyed.
Yeah.
Everything. So he goes to Auger's house, it gets beat, it gets smashed up and burnt down. He meets the podlings. Their houses get smashed up.
Yes.
They get taken to be squished of their essence. He takes a ride on one of those long-legged thing, and that gets thrown in a
That's a
crevasse.
sea lion rabbit fusion on stilts. I figured that one out. It took me ages. I had to stick my tongue out. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, the Chamberlain would have been much better killing him in the cave and taking his dead body back to the castle.
From the Chamberlain's perspective.
What about the essence?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah. I just wanted to flag the fact, the way that this film allows itself to take its time.
Yeah.
And I think probably a lot of the reason why they decided to do that is because it is so beautiful. There is so much detail and love that's put into it.
It doesn't drag though.
No, but it takes its time. If you watch it, you know, there's the scene where they're having the meal. The Skeksis are having the meal.
Oh, I've got a problem with that. puppets eating food pisses me off.
Because they can't use
They
their
don't-
tongue to
no,
swallow it.
Nothing goes in. They just move
Just
it
jabs
around.
it.
It's
They do
really
it.
obvious.
They do a fair job, but yeah, I think the noodles really did let them
Yeah,
down.
don't like that. And also, I didn't like the bats. I thought
Crystal bats.
The crystal
they were a
bats.
bit.
and they were animated, weren't they? The bats.
Well, they were still like
There
that.
was one
effectively
shot
like
of them being animated, and I thought it was
Yeah.
daft.
They
No,
were
I-
a bit skinny. They look like they look like a bit like a coat hanger with a couple of bits of cloth. They look like a low budget Halloween bat.
Maybe they ran out of budget because it must have cost a bomb the amount.
According to IMDb, it
Yeah.
cost more than Robocop.
This film, well, Jim got to the point where it
Stop
needed-
saying Jim. I
Like
think
you
you
right.
your mate.
Jay Henson, got to the point where I think it needed like another 15 million, and it's pretty much, I think, all he had, and he put everything into it. So,
Another 15 million, or this says budget was 15 million.
oh right, well then that was all of his bucks, so which was more than Robocop.
Oh,
So,
money
okay.
well spent.
Yeah.
Did you notice? Okay, 10 points. Whoever gets this, the sound of the crystal is exactly the same sound as
E.T. phoning home.
no.
Could you do the sound for us to remind? Flipper.
It's Ming the Merciless's ring from Flash
Ah.
Gordon. It's exactly the same noise. So there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Maybe his ring was cut from the crystal.
Is this part of the Star Wars universe? as well?
Yes.
Flash?
Yeah.
Nah. There's boobs in it.
All right. Listen, we better wrap this up soon. Has anyone got anything else they want to say? Does it stand up today?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Send your demo.
More than Robocop.
Can I just don't be silly? Can I just say I don't remember. I remember this film. I definitely have seen it before, but I don't remember the scene at the end where the Skeksis turns around and he's got his back to the Mystic and they merge.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah,
I
very
don't remember
clearly.
that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they turn into this kind of
Yeah.
It's
They fit.
and that
Yeah, yeah.
is profoundly. That is Asian freaking legendary stuff. Again, that's
Can you be a bit more
Zelda.
specific, please?
Zelda, the Legend
No,
of
with your
Zelda.
Asian legendary stuff. What do you mean?
I mean, like, Studio Ghibli stuff. The
Well, they came later, so what?
exactly. So who influenced who? God damn it! I don't know. As far as I know, this Froud dude influenced it. So, are the Japanese obsessed?
You mean
with Dark
Froud with
Crystal?
Freud?
Google it.
Oh, Froud.
Froud.
You talk about Froud.
Freud. Don't bring Freud into this. Actually, so you did say that the Mystics reminded you of the Native Americans.
Well, I did write down
They
here.
reminded me-
Is it a metaphor for America and Native Americans?
No.
No, I thought no, it's not really.
They remind me of the male genitalia.
what Native Americans.
What? The Mystics? So the Mystics look like your male genital.
I've never thought about it, but when you said, what does it remind you? I was like, genitalia? What, penis? I don't know.
I think you should go see a doctor.
Yeah,
Maybe you should.
Any memorable lines? I've just that whimper.
Yeah.
I like Say Your Team On. Say Your Team On! Whereas when she calls like the sea lion bat, sea lion rabbit on stilt fusion.
And when she's a little bit up herself, going, of course, I'm a girl.
I'm a girl. That's a lovely line.
It is a
lovely
but
line.
I like my favourite line is the Augur line when she's talking about
Yes.
Jen's master. It's
Yeah.
no, he died. Could be anywhere then.
Yeah.
Yes, some similarities to Yoda, maybe.
Yeah.
Massive similarities to Yoda and Star Wars as a whole.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous. It's
All
a
right,
gorgeous.
let's go with
film.
it. Performances 10.
I'm going to go 8. Yeah.
Effects 10.
Oof, yeah, that's
8.
Oh shit, 9,
Plot 9.
7,
6.
Rewatch factor 9.
7,
4.
Direction 9.
7.
8.
Cinematography, I'm going to say
6.
10. Really?
So, so good. I'm going to say 7 again. I feel like I'm being a bit mean on it, but it's sorry.
Sound of Music, 6.
6.
I'm going to say 6. I think it's got a lovely theme tune. But that's kind of all it has. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah.
Yeah. 6.
I was just thinking, it took me a while to... I didn't think you had the tune at all, but then you had it perfect.
Everyone says that about me. That's
the theme tune to Taxi. I only know that because we've done this before.
Okay.
All right.
Originality, 9.
9.
What's wrong with me? 8.
Enjoyability, 9.
8.
6.
And life-changing, past or present, 8.
6.
2.
And we've gone quiet because we're working out this
Frantically getting this to your ears.
Okay, I've got 89.
Wow. I've got 61.
73, number 73, 3.
Giving us movie Lighthouse score 74.3 recurring.
74.3
Little while.
puts it in third place, just under Robocop.
Oh!
The other high scoring round, which is I'm very pleased about, since you always criticise my choice of
well,
films.
and considering we each got to pick the film, we weren't restricted. We were only restricted by genre. You would hope we would have picked films that we actually enjoy.
Yeah, that's true, and we have.
Right, well, we're going to move on. This might be slightly different.
Yeah.
We are going to look at The Exorcist, the version you've never seen, which is untrue because we've all seen it.
I've seen it a few times, but they have not changed the title.
Okay, so let's have a clip.
Somewhere between science and superstition, there is another world. The world of darkness. Nobody expected it.
All right, let's see what the...
Nobody believed it. And nothing could stop it.
There are no experts. You probably know as much about possession as most priests. Look, your daughter doesn't say she's a demon. She says she's the devil himself.
I'm telling you that thing upstairs isn't my daughter. Now, I want you to tell me that you know for a fact that there's nothing wrong with my daughter except in her mind. You tell me you know for a fact that an exorcism wouldn't do any good. You tell me that!
Right, so we're going to move on to our final film, which is The Exorcist, the version you've never seen. Now, we're kind of overrunning, so we're only going to spend about 5 minutes on this one.
Okay.
It's great. No, I'm only kidding. All right, so let me give you a few facts.
Oh, please do.
Here we are. Sorry, I should have done that.
I could say this version was released in 2000.
Okay, but the original was released in 1973, directed by William Friedkin, written by William Peter Blatty. Box office, the film earned 66.3 billion in distributors domestic. I don't know, 232 million North America. Had a huge reputation because it was an X-rated film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about, I'm sure. Notable actors were Ellen Bernstein as Chris McNeil, Max von Sydow as Father Lancaster Merrin.
You pronounce his name really well now.
Yeah,
you previously had some
backed
real
away from it
problems.
previously, but yeah, you've gone for it.
Jason Miller as Damien Karras.
Yes.
Linda Blair as Reagan, and that'll do, I think, for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Laurie, do you want to give us a bit of a synopsis?
I'm going to do it, right? Okay, I'm going to focus. So, right. We're in a normal town, Georgetown, and normal people are doing their normal things, and it seems that some young girl has been starting to talk to, and then slowly absorb a demon. And
Why am I using the word possess?
Okay, let's use that. Gets possessed by this demon, but it slowly develops her symptoms and her problems, and her mum and the people around her are desperately trying to figure out what the hell it is, and obviously going through science, and just completely despairing because nothing's working. And you see Reagan getting worse and worse, and just more bizarre stuff happens. And she gets to that point where even the scientists are saying to her, you need to go to the church.
Now, it's another of these iconic films, I suppose, isn't it? A bit like Jaws, in the way that it's affected popular culture. Through reputation and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but then probably through that subject matter, that element of ultimate evil, really. You know, that Jaws kind of factor, and this is... it's not the devil, I don't think, but it's evil against good.
Okay.
Innocence.
Right, so I went to the cinema to see this. The first time I saw...
The first time you saw it was at the cinema?
Yep. Which was brilliant. I loved it, and it kind of lived up to its hype.
Did
How old were
you
you?
take my wife to the cinema? Let me rephrase it.
No, that
you
was
did
the second.
take
Yes,
my wife to the cinema.
I did.
To see
That
it.
was the second time I'd seen it.
Okay.
Yes, bless your wife.
How did she cope? How was
Not
she?
well.
Oh, that's wonderful. See?
And we were walking back from the cinema, and I was going 666 and all this kind of stuff. And
you don't get any 666 in this.
No, but I was
That's
just freaking
Omen.
her out a bit. And someone got knocked down in front of us by a car, and we had to...
Louisa dashed over. Well, Louisa Jones dashed over. She took her coat off.
No, she took my coat off.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. I was cold. She was all right. But she was brilliant.
To rest under the guy's head who'd been smashed by
Brought him
blimey.
back a week later, covered in blood.
Yeah, some people.
Hopefully it was all right. But
Yeah,
just going back to... So this is interesting. So
Yeah.
you saw it for the first time in the cinema. That's amazing. How old were you, roughly?
Oh, about 17, I think.
That-
No, maybe a bit younger, 15, I think.
Okay, that's cool. And then Louisa saw it and it affected her...
Profoundly.
Did she articulate that affection?
This is another one of those films that I'd never seen, so I saw it for the first time 2 days ago.
Really?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I watched it, she was out, and she said I had to light candles and do my own exorcism after I watched it.
It's when she came
having
back,
it
just
on
because she knew it's been in
It-
her house.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? This, like The Omen for me, has a certain sort of mystical power.
Yeah.
You know, even like in a DVD case, you know, it's messing with things that maybe we shouldn't be messing with. Laurie, when was the first time you saw it?
I know exactly. I was in Thailand, and it was in 2000, maybe 1.
You said you knew exactly.
Oh yeah, I did. That wasn't me, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Possessed.
Put him down to the boats. It'll be fine.
Right. Sorry, carry on.
So yeah, 2001. I'm going to say exactly. In Thailand, and you go to these movie rental places, VHS still at the time. They're all in these beautiful pink cases, and you wouldn't know what any of the videos were unless you read the little spine bit. And it wasn't me that got it. It was a tall guy called can't remember his name, but he had a nose, and he went, "Oh yeah, mate, you should go check out this. It's great." And what is it? The Exorcist. I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, cool, nice. Yeah, I've never actually seen that." And I thought it was going to be poke. I thought it was going to be hokum.
Really?
Just puff. Because I'd heard about, the head turning around. I heard all these really stupid stuff. I'd seen scenes, and I thought, it was just laughable.
Well, it's been parodied so heavily
Yeah.
since that it kind of, you feel it might have diffused the original.
Well, let's get to the point about... Hold on, sorry, go on.
So I watched it, and it was the version you've never seen. And I never realised that was actually the bit that went after the Exorcist bit. I didn't realise that was the version I was watching. And I was just... I fell in love with it. Amazing.
Let's talk comparisons. Because I know the original version very well as well. Towards the end,
yeah,
we'll come back to that at the end. What do we like this film? I'm going to say yes, I like it very much.
Yeah, it embodies, for me, what I find scary in films. Young girls acting weird. That genuinely scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is it suffers from the same thing most horror films suffer from, for me, which is once it's manifest, it's not scary anymore.
And the manifestation would be what point?
Once Reagan is fully like screwed up and they've got the priests coming in,
right?
It's creepy and it's like, yeah, okay, fine. It would be disturbing to see somebody moving in that way.
Yeah.
But it stops being scary for me at that point. Not just this film, but just films generally. Once they've manifested the badness.
I slightly disagree with that. Just let's talk.
Can't disagree with me. Yeah, it affects me.
No, I can disagree with what you just said. Because I think Linda Blair did an amazing job.
Yeah, she did.
And there was a bit I wanted to... when she kills... is it Merrin? Not Merrin. Who did she kill? Yeah, she kills Merrin.
Burke?
She kills Burke.
No, and then she kills Merrin.
Yeah, but you don't see that.
He has a heart attack, doesn't he?
Yeah, but...
In the book, he has a heart attack.
But from what she's doing...
Yeah.
And she's just sitting on the bed with a kind of guilty... expression, like I've done something really naughty.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was just such a lovely shot.
So that bit actually. So when you talk about that, the guilty naughty bit, it almost implies actually that Merrin's done enough work to pull enough out,
push the demon
to
back.
allow actually that kind of posture of Reagan and have that kind of innocent.
I thought that was the demon.
No, it is
a little bit guilty.
No, it is definitely still the demon, but rather than like a celebration, it's kind of this little kind of thing in the corner. Maybe like a kid has done something naughty. It's a very subtle suggestion that maybe Merrin and the exorcism that they've done so far, compelling of the Christ, has pulled out of her to maybe allow that sort of posture or that position. But definitely it's still the demon, absolutely, because Karis... come into me. It's still absolutely there, but yeah. But throughout though, the performance of Linda Blair, is impeccable. But it's all the acting in this. It's surrounded by William freaking controlling it under this. Not egomaniac, but what's that word? That megalomaniac kind of manner. He was brutal. He was cruel.
I think it's one of the best shot films we've seen.
But they were very tender with her, and made her feel comfortable. But
like that bit when she's fucking herself with a crucifix?
Fucking hell, yeah. But
I wonder how they came about mentioning that to her mother.
Yeah,
got this idea for a scene.
Yeah. But. Well, yeah. I mean, there's that bit where she's being smashed on the bed, and that the pulley and the thing that she was strapped into was coming loose, and she was screaming, "Let me out! Let me out!" But unfortunately, that was actually the script. Stop it, or whatever it is. Stop it now. So they didn't actually know. They were basically breaking.
They should have had a safe word.
But she did it. She did it. Amazing.
Can we talk a little bit about the cinematography? Because I think it should be. Because it opens in northern Iraq. Is it?
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Amazing.
And I when I used to the first 4 or 5 times I saw this, I always forgot that that's how it opened.
Yes,
it opens like Indiana
exactly
Jones,
right.
It's like a dig.
Yes.
For the...
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. So the first, I watched it in Thailand, and I didn't watch it since. Got back to England, got really excited. I was like, I'm in love with this new film, man. I need to get it. Got The Exorcist, I think, on DVD. Really excited. Put it in and went, that's not my Exorcist. That's not what I love.
That bit's in the original.
No. As a whole film. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I forgot the Iraq scene. So let's go back to that. So why does this film make Louisa want to light candles in her house when she's known it's been watched in her house? Why does it make people feel putting the video into the machine, we're messing with something we shouldn't? It's because it's got... humanity is built on this very... I personally want to say bullshit, but religions. all this stuff, the devil, that stuff. And this is what Iraq, that scene is all about, that ancient, old, rah. And, the situation of the film then takes that oldness into nowadays life. Characters that are obsessed with their own little things. Karras is worried about his mum, is losing faith,
Dimmy.
all that stuff. Dimmy, yeah. And then Chris, she's making a film with Burke. She's high society. She hasn't got a partner. She's pissed off of her ex-husband. Kid needs a husband. Kid needs a dad. All that stuff. But then this oldness, this truth starts feeding back in, and I think that's what really taps into the audience watching this kind of stuff and scares the fucking shit out of us. It's just that thing that's kind of in our DNA, that ancient evil, and that is that Iraq scene. That is that, the statue. Yeah. And this again, back to this version, that statue.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll come back to the statue because that is important at the end.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ellen Bernstein, Chris. What do we think of her performance?
What do you think, Win? It's all right.
You see, I thought I really like. I'm a big fan of hers anyway.
Jesus.
She was in Requiem for a Dream, and I think she's top notch. But really played it wonderfully. I thought
amazingly.
She really reflects all the stuff that's going on with Reagan all the way through. When she's waiting for the priest with her headscarf on.
No
comments, please, Laurie.
I think she could hear Karras quite well.
But, so distraught. Just a very convincing. And because you believe her, then you believe all the other stuff that's going along with it.
Yeah. Her despair, her absolute despair, and her frustration with science. Nothing's going on.
There's a bit when because she plays an actress and she's in this film, isn't she? That's why they're in Washington.
Yeah.
And there's a bit when she's about to go on and do a take, and so she's acting, and then she's acting like she's preparing to act, and then she acts, which I thought was brilliant. That's how I act.
Yeah, her kind of journey to breakdown is, as you say, mirrors Reagan's possession. Of her possession. Yeah. And that bit where she has a go at, she meets with Crassus? No. What's the father?
Karras.
And she was again, the psychiatrist who just sent me all the way to you, you're going to send me all the way back to this. Kind of like meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, I would have definitely put Reagan in an institute. When I saw the bed moving and shit like that, I'd be like, nah, your best stuff over here, being looked after properly, not in my house.
And that's what Karras advises, put her into the best care.
6 months observation.
But this is why it's so good, because he hasn't got any faith.
Yeah.
So he's having to do the exorcism, and that's why he can't do the exorcism in the end.
Yeah.
When Merrin dies, he can't do it because he doesn't believe. So, he gets a demon inside him.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. I think back to her acting, and again, this is across every single beat, in my opinion, in this film. Chris's acting, I can't remember the actress's name.
Ellen
Bernstein. Is just fantastic. I mean, there's a scene when she's, Reagan's gone for one of the early sort of observations in like some sort of science hospital or whatever, and he's like, is your daughter known to swear or whatever? And he says...
Now, this is an extra scene. That bit wasn't in the original cut.
Right. And he says, well, she said to me, keep your fingers away from my goddamn C word. And then her little laugh, but then her like, what? Jesus. Just those little bits. It's just a lovely beat.
Yeah.
And I suppose what you said, though, that the fact that she's playing an actress is quite a useful tool when you're writing something. If you want to give an actor kind of a little bit more of a scope, you're kind of giving them themselves in the plot. You are you. What's her first name again? Ellen.
Yeah.
Alan.
Ellen.
Ellen, you be you in this film.
But she's also, because she's a very famous actress, she's in control of everything. and her life. So her life, you know, she's got like when she says there are rats in the attic.
Yeah.
And no rats. It's like there are. Get the traps.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go right now, but you still go and get the traps. And then so she has no control over all this.
Yeah.
So
back to the abuse thing again as well with Friedkin. There's a bit where Reagan smashes her. I think it might be after the crucifix bit, where she smashes her down to the floor, and you see like the shot of her falling to the floor, and she had a rig, someone with a piece of rope at the back of her, pulling it, and they did like a few takes, and he'd always like take after take after take, and he was like, I'm not quite getting enough, and he always wanted to crank it up, just crank it, and he just gave a little look to the guy that's pulling the rope on like the 5th or 6th take, and he was like, really fucking do it this time, and nearly broke her back. And that's the shot that you get in the scene when she gets pulled down. She massively injured in that scene, and the Friedkin was like carried on and took the camera right into her face, and he was like, fucking turn that camera off, fucking hell. So he was the acting. When we say is this good acting, it's like they kind of didn't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, that's similar to The Shining, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Help me out. The actress in The Shining.
I want to say Penelope Walton, but it's not,
isn't it?
It's Shelley Duvall.
Yeah. So she tells stories about just the torture she was put through.
Yeah.
And so actually, almost to the point where you kind of go, well, they're not. Are they acting anymore?
Yeah.
Or is this actually just?
There's loads of rumours and around this film about like it being cursed and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that was probably a bit hype, really.
Yeah.
I think it was like 7 or 9 deaths in the cast. There was a fire where the set all burnt down, so they had to stop filming for like 2 months and all that. But it's really basically the reason why is it cursed is because it's the subject matter that they're talking about. They're immediately going to think that. If they were making, Mary Poppins, this new one, they probably wouldn't. Actually, there might be a bit of a cult shit in that.
Yeah.
So
it's the same with The Omen,
example.
isn't it? The curse of the Omen.
Yes.
Because of the subject matter they're dealing with.
Yeah.
It lends itself to that kind of.
And it's the only one. I mean, it seems it's untouchable. Like the devil. It's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the only one that has that real danger about it.
Yeah.
It's just great. Music, Tubular Bells, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think it highlights because you've got the Iraq and the mystical, exciting place, and then you're in the kind of cold reality of Georgetown. And then this obviously predates Halloween, but it's like when she's walking along and it's autumn and Tubular Bells start. I thought that was great. I love this film.
Of course you do.
So, as I say, it's the first time I'd seen it, but I had read the book,
read
the novel.
I've still got it.
I know. And it's interesting, there's no real... so the reason Merrin gets called, the beginning when he's in Iraq and he gets called, we found this thing, he does a statue and then he has a panic attack almost.
Yeah.
It's because it's the same demon he exorcised in Africa 12 years previously.
Yes.
So when he walks into the house, you hear Reagan, or the demon through Reagan, say, Merrin!
Yeah.
Because they know each other. So that scene when possessed Reagan is sat there at the end of the bed and Merrin's dead is because it's like, this is a personal battle that has come to an end.
Yeah,
and
if Lex Luthor did kill Superman, he'd be upset about it.
Exactly. But it doesn't... yes, you can read it in, but it was...
Can I just say they made the prequel and it was terrible.
Did they?
Yeah, and they made... And then Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Exorcist 2 touches on it, yeah.
It's not very good. Exorcist 3 is okay. But
Exorcist 3 is really good. There's some really good stuff in it, but it's a very, very, very different film to this. But you've got Karis in Exorcist 3.
I've got a question, and it's not so much a problem, but there's the bit, when Merrin's not Merrin, Karis's mother dies.
Yeah.
They mention that she died alone.
Mm-hmm.
But she was in that institute.
No. She asked him. I don't want to be here. Why did you do this to me?
Yeah, but she didn't release.
I think he took her out. He took her back out. You don't see it.
Never made it all clear. I don't think
it doesn't need to be made
but I
clear.
don't think he would have been able to.
Well, I think he did. In my mind, he did, because they said that she died alone. Going back to Merrin, though, I think it's quite important.
Why did they tie her up?
Maybe she was...
She's upset because she's in...
And she could hardly walk anyway.
It's not like...
They could have been better off tying up some of those other people. And that was a nice touch as well, when he's walking to see his mother, you know, and he pushes quite violently the person away.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean,
not very Christian, is that where you're going with?
At all. Yeah. Which is basically the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
Write in, please.
There's a real hardness to this film as well, and obviously at the time, probably a truth as well. Like, even when he's going to see his mum, and you've got the kids jumping on the cars and stuff, the fire hydrants, everything's all run down and shit and grubby. And I don't know, it feels, I'm going to say the word visceral. Everything about this film he's not fucking about. It really kind of means something. And, you know, when you get Reagan's head turning round, like I thought would be laughable, I completely excuse it. You know, it's kind of representing what happened to Burke when he was killed, you know. Kidman's turned up.
But unfortunately, it never flips back. So that it goes back to the shot, it cuts away and then comes back, and then that's normal.
Absolutely normal,
I went to see the theatre version of this a few months ago.
Right. How does that bear up?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Peter Bowles played Merrin.
Right.
And the voice of the demon was Gandalf, which didn't work. What's his name? Ian McKellen.
That's quite impressive.
No, it didn't work at all.
Was it Ian McKellen doing a demon voice?
Would you like to do this, Reagan? Yeah, it didn't work at all. And all the effects didn't work. You could, you know, do this anyway. Let's spend a little bit of time, Wyndham, you're not going to be able to play, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Talking about the differences.
Yeah.
I can't play
Okay, so this is basically an extended cut. And I think it works for the added bits, on the whole.
Good man, well done.
So
you believe, actually, you would recommend this above the theatrical original
I
release?
always felt that there was a gap between Reagan starting to get ill and then suddenly her being pretty ill. And all those I think there's at least two extra doctor scenes.
There's a freaking hardcore doctor scene, the spinal tap scene.
Yeah, which is only, you see a minute of about 10 seconds of that, or even...
No, there's a bit where you got the...
No, I know, but you hear the machine in the original.
Oh, right.
And you don't have any of the conversation with the nurse. And I don't think you have the scene with you might have the scene with the doctors, but there's a hell of a lot more of her going through that process. And it doesn't drag it out, I think it adds to it.
Yeah.
And obviously the statue popping up every now and then, and the face popping up every now and then, which I think is brilliant.
Sorry, that's not in the theatrical.
No, so when you see
it appears in the Overcooker Hob.
Yeah,
when she comes home when Burke's been killed.
Yeah, you never see the statue again except from the start.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
And the face that pops up a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I don't think you see that either.
Yeah. And they're very subtly put, and I suppose that's...
Oh, sorry, and just and the extra bits with Reagan, the crab, you know, when she's like down the stairs, you don't see that, and I think that probably should have been omitted because I think it's too extreme too quickly.
Well,
really? So there, in the book, is the first shit you up bit of the book. So you kind of go, okay, yeah. And then the way that's written, that is proper hair standing up. Oh my god!
Well, it was cut from the original because it's at the point where Chris comes back home. She goes up to Reagan's room. The windows are open. She thinks nothing of it. She closes the window. The door goes. She goes down and she finds out she gets told that Burke's been killed.
Yes.
And as kind of writing, that's like the bit. And then straight after that beat, she shuts the door. And in this version, she turns round and then you get the spider walk. And Freakin thought it was too many beats, too many punches, and probably to the fact that it's just too much. Like you say, probably too soon. But once you've seen it, you just kind of want it there because you allow it.
It's a brilliant effect.
You allow it to be there, and then back to the other little differences on the same sort of vein with the horror stuff. So she comes back actually the same night, and in this version, the version you've never seen, she goes into the kitchen. You get a very faint, just on the top of the hob where it's complete black. You get this face that you actually see from Karras's dream when he's dreaming about his mum. You see his medal falling. His mum comes out of the subway and she's calling to him and he can't hear her.
Yeah.
And he's waving, "Mum, Mum." And then you just get this one flash.
It's quite quick, is it?
Yeah, probably 2, 3, 4 frames, nothing more than that, of this just profoundly scary face. Kind of similar to like a vampire or whatever it is. And just pow. And then it's gone. And then the original version, I think you only get it at that time.
Yeah, you get it once, yeah.
Once, which is cool, which is really cool. But in this version, you get it just a couple of more times, just dropped in. I said subtly, it's probably not that subtle. And as a director, if I looked at it, I would go, actually, maybe I'm overhamming it, I'll cut it out. But as a viewer, like similar to the Spider Walk, because it's there and you've seen it now, it just adds more to the overall experience. It's like sort of looking at an abstract painting or something like that. It just gives you something more. It doesn't have to be perfect. And once it's there, you've got that information. You just retain it. And you see the statue more. You know, she goes out of the room. The statue's behind Reagan's door.
But it's very dark. So it's almost...
But you know it's there.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And there's just those little points. And if you are a director and you want it to be slick and smooth and don't over-egg, whatever, fair enough. But I don't think there's any harm in having these parts in there. But the Reagan element as well, which you started off with, yeah, you do see much more of the whole sort of scientific approach to trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And the main scene, the big one, is that awful scene where she's laying strapped in and they put a needle in her neck and the blood's coming out and she's feeling really uncomfortable and you're just watching it, which feels like forever. You said it was like a minute or so, but it's just like blood's pouring, like gushing out of her neck, and it's like, fucking hell, this is horrible. And that's just the whole setup to...
All right, well, look, we better wrap it up. Does it hold up today?
Wyndham, does it hold up today?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it has less power now because I think we live in a more faith-less society.
We're more secular now, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a fair point, actually, to say that. That is a fair point.
Although the devil still scares people, I think.
Yeah, but I was brought up as a Catholic. I went to a Catholic school. So that's probably a reason why this film has got extra weight, maybe, on me than some other people.
Catholic guilt.
Yeah, maybe. I don't follow that religion anymore, but I can feel it. I've got that in me.
Okay. Memorable lines. The only one for me is the power of Christ compels you.
Well, there are loads so none of them are very...
Cops in hell.
That is the one that I expected to be a bigger line in the film than it is. Because it's just that it resonates. That's what people take away, and that's the quote you kind of hear.
Yes.
So you can't unhear it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
Do you know what she did? Your cunting daughter! That sounds wonderful. The sow is mine.
All right. Well, look, I think...
Another scene, actually, that's in this version that was omitted from the other was when Karras and Merrin go in and they do their sort of first sort of exorcism exercise, and they come out and they have a little sit down on the steps and they have a conversation. And Merrin explains Reagan's not the target.
Despair.
It's everyone else around her to despair. That's what this demon's really after. I think that's a really cool bit. And the end where you see Dyer, the priest Dyer, he gives...
Not Danny Dyer.
No, not Danny Dyer. He gives Reagan a huggle or whatever it is. Well, Reagan gives him a huggle. And they get in the car and they stop and they say, "Oh, this is for you." And it's Merrin's medal again. And he takes it. And in the original version, he takes it... Sorry, Karras's medal, yeah. And he just goes over to the steps, looks down the steps, and the music plays. Which actually, I think, probably is a better ending. Because in this one, he gives it back to Reagan, and he goes over and bumps into Kidman.
No, to the mother. Gives it to the mother.
Oh, right. Gives it back to the mother.
I would not have accepted it, because I would have thought it might have a touch of possession.
Yeah. Maybe. And then he bumps into Kidman, and they jab her about films. Which is a different kind of ending.
Yeah. And then they go for lunch.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned it, but I think the detective is brilliant. I think he's in it a bit more in the extended version.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But I really liked him. I thought he added a nice little extra bit to the film.
Yeah.
Right, should we score it?
Yeah.
Okay, performances 9.
7.
9.
Effects
8.
9.
9. Plot
9.
9.
8.
Rewatch factor 9.
10.
5.
Cinematography. Oh no, direction
8.
9.
10.
Cinematography
7.
10. And what did you say?
9.
Say it clearly. Sound and music 8.
9. Just quickly on this. So, the Sound of Music, obviously everyone thinks of Tubular Bells.
Could you mention this in the book? Because you do this every time.
Yeah, but you flip and flap around blooming everywhere. It's hard to keep up with you, son. I've just got to wedge it all in when it finishes.
Got it.
So, just on the Sound of Music, everyone immediately thinks of Tubular Bells and all that, which is obviously wonderful and quite weird to have in this film. But right at the end when it goes Exorcist, you've got this kind of avant-garde violin, like manic violin, which is great. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
Okay, I'm going to take a point off for that one.
Thanks.
7.
7.
Originality 9.
9.
9.
Enjoyability
6.
9.
9. Life-changing past or present 9.
0.
I'm going to go 8.
Okay.
Right, that gives me a total of 89.
My total 65.
91.
Crumble. Turn my adding machine off. Okay, equals 81.6. Recurring.
Which goes right in the middle of Robocop and the Dark Crystal.
Oh, wow.
It's a
What?
good little
Robocop
cluster.
trumps The Exorcist?
Of course it does. Robocop's the best film ever made.
What? Fine.
Wow. Okay. Right. Good scoring. I'm pleased that they're all pretty high up there. That's going to shove a few off the leaderboard. Bye-bye Blood Feast. Bye-bye Razorback. Bye-bye House.
Oh, I don't want to see House go.
No, but I'm quite pleased.
Freaking love a bit of House. House.
Right, okay. Whose turn is it to choose from my ball bag?
Whoa. Back up a second or two. What is our next episode?
It's a Halloween-focused episode, so if you're lucky enough to be choosing...
It's my turn to choose.
Right, okay, so maybe we'll choose you some Halloween films. Who knows?
Do you know I called Michael Ironside recently? I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
As what? In light of his promotion
Yeah.
to honorary lighthouse keeper?
Yeah. And I said, Michael. And he went, yeah, how are you doing? I was like, I'm all right. You got some time to talk? Yeah, maybe, yeah. I'm calling from the movie Lighthouse. And I asked him a couple of questions. First one was why I wasn't in Robocop.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said,
what
depression.
What, the depression?
Yeah.
Right.
And then I asked him what was his favourite sort of...
Sorry, are you saying he has depression? Because if he sues, he's suing you.
Well, it was a Michael Ironside. Well, we'll see.
Just choose a ball.
Rummage deep.
But the ball would be 12. The ball is 12. If that's not Halloween
12.
go-to film, then I'm going to be furious.
12 is 1991.
1990.
There is no way you can get Halloween 3 from 1991. Just... Right, okay, so let's choose some films.
The pace of modern life can be exhausting. Always working, always rushing around, always thinking of the next thing on your list you need to check off. What are your friends doing? Have they liked your latest post? Are your kids pulling you in opposite directions? Is that another passive-aggressive email from your boss at 7 o'clock in the evening? How long has it been since you last managed to truly relax? How good would it feel to unplug from all the pressure life throws at you? Well, why not take a walking tour of the Yorkshire moors? Throw on your rucksack and head out to the endless rolling miles of countryside. Why not break up your journey with a visit to East Proctor for a slice of real rural life? While you're there, drop by the Slaughtered Lamb, where you'll be made to feel as welcome as an erection at a funeral. Stand and watch as all conversation and joviality stops and the whole pub stares at you. With no rooms to rent, no hot food to stave off the cold and damp of the moors, you can order any hot drink you want, as long as it's tea. Listen in wonder at the casual 70s-style racism, and pause for thought at the unexplained pentagram on the wall and the studiously ignored howling from outside before the undeniably hostile environment forces you out into the night just as the ominous storm breaks. With the cry of, "Stay off the moor!" ringing in your ears, you head out by the light of the full moon to be savaged by a werewolf. You can then look forward to a brief and unconvincing fling with a nurse and a month of hallucinations telling you to kill yourself. Go on, take a break in East Proctor. Now that's a holiday. This advert has been brought to you by an American stereotypical perception of the United Kingdom, the Yorkshire Tourist Board and the East Proctor Parish Council, where strangers aren't welcome and hospitality is a foreign word.
You go on then.
I have chosen Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
And Terminator 2.
Oh.
You're giving them both to me like that.
Both in one hit.
Terminator 2 and Silence of the Lamb. Okay.
Lambs.
Oh, right, there's plural. Okay.
And
What's your first one?
I have gone for Wes Craven's
Yes.
The People Under the Stairs.
Ooh.
Okay, yes. Good fun. And your second one,
My second one is the little-known Japanese classic,
Yes.
Hiroko the Goblin.
What? Do you know this film?
No. But it's about a school built on one of the gates of hell.
Yes.
And it's Japanese.
Wow, does sound good. Mind you,
No idea.
Terminator 2, brilliant. Silence of the Lambs, brilliant.
It is.
But you're not going to choose those anyway because you're sulking because I won't let you have Halloween 3.
Yeah, are any of those films actually Halloween free, by the way? No?
Come on,
Oh, it's a very... Oh, I'm not very good at this. I need a little bit of time. Can you play some incidental music, please? Oh, fucking hell.
This is what I don't like your work.
See, I naturally... Do I go with what my heart and soul says? Or not?
As opposed to what? Because you know, heart and soul is a kind of figment of your imagination.
That's true. I'm going to go for Hiroko the Goblin and... Oh, God. Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh.
There you go. I did it. I
Good
did it.
man. Great. Well, that's two very exciting films. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. It's a little bit longer than usual. We'll be back to normal service next time for our Halloween special.
What do you mean Halloween special? What the hell are you talking about?
We've got a goblin and we've got a serial killer. Two serial killers.
Fine.
Great. All right then. Well, I've been James.
I've been Laurie.
I've been Wyndham.
And I've just realised that that's exactly what JR says at the end of the Blue Box podcast. So, I'm just going to say goodbye. Because I feel like I'm just stealing his best ideas.
Right, get up there. You're doing that light tonight. Your behaviour this episode, you've been unbelievable.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Lighthouse.
Shamrock.
Look, bollocks. We're doing Halloween 3.
No,
and
you're not.
whatever you choose.
We can't do Halloween 3.
Yes, we can.
We can't.
Yes.
No, it's not.
We've just done 3 films this
Yeah,
week.
because it was a special treat.
Right, you're going to choose one film from 1991 and then you're
No,
going
you
to
can't
choose one
change-
for a Halloween
not
special.
changing the rules.
Well, so we're doing nothing for Halloween then?
You would sound like a child.
For fuck's
You
sake.
sound like Fizzgig.
This is bullshit. It's Halloween.
Well, you shouldn't have chosen 1991, should you?
This is bullshit. One of the films can be from 1991 and the other one should be Halloween 3.
Okay.
James, just agree. You're being a bellend.
No, because it doesn't fit in. No, you're not having it.
It doesn't fit in because it's Halloween.
doesn't fit in because you chose 1991.
Yeah, one of the films could be 1991.
No, because it makes a mockery of the whole choosing. We said we would never move from the ball choice.
You don't have to. One of the
Scanners
films
2 came out.
Let's do that. Hell, I'm going to choose that if you choose it.